What's going on, guys? My name's RMisHERO and we are back with another video. Today we're looking at the brand new artwork leaks that came with this current update. But first, shoutouts to Anton Labs for finding all of this stuff. As you guys mostly know, he is a data miner for the Reddit and he hooks everybody up with all the brand new artworks and everything. So big shoutouts to him. Links will be in the description as always, and the Reddit is down there now. I've made it kind of like a upload default thing where the Reddit will always be linked down there. Also, just for anybody who wants to know any more information about the game. So I went through all of the brand new things. It's a bunch of like items and everything, so I just went through all of them, took them all apart and put them into like kind of slideshowy parts. So yeah, there's a bunch of things, no new character per se, but there's a bunch of like abilities, items, granny shop things, and just a bunch of things in general. So, you know guys, let's just get into this video. Alright, so first off, I'm gonna go and start with the granny shop items, because, you know, it's probably the least exciting thing. Well, the granny shop in general is exciting, but the things that we found weren't. Other than, you know, the coin was there, everything was there, except for the item to the right, the bronze coin, it looks like. So if you guys didn't know, back then when the granny shop came out, every time you summoned, you'd get those gold coins to the left, and if you had enough, you could buy a 5-star that turned into a 6-star character. So the one to the right, the bronze one, is actually coming with a brand new game mode that is coming out on the 31st for JP, and probably a week later for global. So the main thing is you play the raid and it drops you the bronze coin, and with that coin you can buy items with like limit break crystals. That's as pretty much far as we know as to what you can buy, but you know, I'm just gonna go out and assume that we can buy like ramen, scrolls, things like that would make limit breaking and everything else easier, without necessarily doing that raid, I guess. And you know, maybe there's a big thing at the top where you buy the dupe item. So if you guys didn't know, there was a thing in one of the scans where it told us about where we can buy an item or obtain an item to put into our character to get the dupe ability and maybe lower down cost. We don't know for sure about that, but for the dupe ability you can. So I'm assuming you just play the raid a crap ton of times and get that coin, and then you know, put that coin in and buy the item, I guess. Right now we don't know for sure, but you know, I'm just assuming, so you know, there you go. Alright, so the next thing is these scrolls with time like clocks on them. I tried to think of different concepts as to how they could be used or what they are essentially, and I came out with a few things. So one thing, as you can read on the screen, is in-game items. I'll just go into this for a little bit. So in-game items, like, you know, in Dokkan, I know people are gonna be like, oh, why do you keep bringing up Dokkan, things like that, but you know, it's a familiar game that are somewhat similar, okay? So in-game items, Dokkan has it. They use it for HP, stopping attacks, reducing damage taken, things like that. And you know, I was wondering why doesn't our game have that concept too, you know? Sure, we have those HP bottles in like on the game floor map, but I feel like if we brought these brand new items, it'd make another step as to making the game more steeper in learning, I guess, because right now it's pretty simple. You know, you drag ultimate sometimes, things like that. But you know, if we throw in items and we make the raids extremely harder, it makes the learning curve a little bit steeper, and I feel like that would make the game more interesting and things like that. So, you know, these things, assuming that they're in-game items, as always I don't have any facts towards them being in-game items, I'm gonna say, you know, you return or go back time a few attacks maybe, because maybe you made a mistake and, you know, you used the jutsu when you shouldn't have, or you killed off a fodder when you shouldn't have. You can use this and travel, like, let's say the gold one is 3 steps back, the red one is 2 steps, and then the silver one is 1 step. You can use those things, which is a really cool concept in my opinion. Obviously it wouldn't redo the let's say you tried to get immobilization and it failed, you couldn't redo that, let's say, but maybe something like that. I don't know. I feel like that's a really cool concept for our game to have, in-game items, so hopefully we'll see what goes on with that. But another thing is, maybe it has something to do with going back in time, in a sense, and turning your 6-star into 5-star. Now, you know, why that would be useful, I have no idea. There are things that you could do for, like, pilling up, you know, you can make that a lot cheaper, but there are ways around that also. You know, you feed the pills into, like, 3 stars and you throw them into the 5-star, 6-star, and it's cheap either way. So, I mean, the in-game item makes sense to me, but, you know, there isn't any other facts towards it being anything else, or anything, or it even being a in-game item. So as of right now, that's what I have to say about that. Alright, this is the next one. I know, a lot of people are gonna rage, be like, oh, why didn't the 7-star come out with Madara? I know, I got that wrong. I will agree 100% that, you know, my thoughts were wrong, I guess, because, you know, I guess everybody wants to hear that, right? So yeah, this is a 7-star artwork, most likely. Last time, or before this update, the background and the border were not together, if you guys know what I mean. But now they are. They're, like, in the new files, they're connected together. And the thing to the right, the, what do you call it? The summoning flyer, was already in there also. But I put this in together, not for clickbait or anything. I'm not even gonna write it in the title or anything. But I put it in there to discuss about it, because, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, there's no facts towards 7 stars whatsoever. But then, you know, we see this artwork. We see the background and the border back to back together. Like, before they were apart, you know, you could say that maybe they don't go together. But now you can 100% say they go together. Whether this be a 7-star or I don't know any other option there would be, so I'm gonna say it's a 7-star. You know, this is, in a sense, I wouldn't say fact, alright? I would say, like, heavily evidenced towards a 7-star artwork. Now, the 1-year anniversary is coming up in like 3 months, I believe. Give or take a few weeks for JP. As you guys know, they came out a little bit earlier than Global did. So, I'm gonna make another, hopefully, correct opinion or statement and say, hopefully they come out with it within that time of the 1-year anniversary. Now, you know, no facts towards it again. Once again, I have to make this very clear that I am stating my opinion or thought, because people will just go out of their way and hate on me and say, oh, these YouTubers are making false statements, saying things like that. So this is my opinion. I think that they are gonna hopefully drop it within that time of the 1-year anniversary. Hopefully Stage Mode Naruto comes out with it. Because, you know, around that time, that I feel like that's when Pain and stuff would be dropping. So yeah, so, again, hopefully they come out within that time, and yeah, moving on. Alright, so, this is the big one. This is the big slideshow with a lot to talk about, and yeah, so, looking at all of these brand new abilities that we see in the game, a lot of them are very strange. I don't really understand, or can even think of, like, what they could do, in a sense. So, you know, you got the top 2 left ones, the pink and the purple one. I don't I don't understand. So, I know that the one all the way to the top left, the purple one, in the bottom right corner of that one, that means map travel. So every time you travel per map, whatever that icon does happens. The next thing is these clocks, or these spinners. The 2 top right ones, you know, the blue and the red one, and that same icon is in the pink one, so that's why I sort of put them all together. I don't really I don't have any thoughts. Maybe it's like having the chance of something increase or decrease, in a sense. So, like, if you hit a person with a jutsu, the chance of them using, let's say, if their jutsu had slip damage would decrease, I guess? Or maybe, actually, maybe it's kind of like well, the same concept, but maybe it's, I don't really know. I wouldn't say I came into this video unprepared, but, you know, what can you really speculate about these things? Yeah, so the next one, I guess, we can just move along, is the Phantom Castle one. So the middle one, or the top one, is already in the game, but I left it in there just to show the difference between that one and then the one right below it. So the first one is you start out with, your first 2 jutsus or something like that, or first jutsu. At the moment, only Asuna Sensei has it, so I don't know. Maybe the bottom one is definitely gonna improve Phantom Castle characters in some way. So maybe they made it so when you're playing Phantom Castle with this character, their HP and attack raises or something like that. Right now we have no idea. Obviously, we don't have any idea for any of these really. Just speculations. Moving on to the 3 triangles. Like, what is this? Actually, maybe it's something like reduce damage or give more damage when attacking with all 3, so like the combo attacks. So the red one being you take less damage in combo attacks, and then the green one, or the blue one, my bad, being you do more damage if all 3 of you guys are hitting. So yeah, maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing. So the red one, to specify it again, is if all 3 of your characters are getting attacked in one hit, you take less damage. And then the blue one being if all 3 of your friends or units hit one character at the same time, you know, with the bundle thing, you do more damage. So I guess that's a reasonable one. Moving on to the ones with the hand signs, the one all the way to the left, the rainbow looking one, and then well, they're both rainbow ones. The green one and then the red one. So the green one I can see, the green one I can see it being every time you use a jutsu, you gain HP, I guess. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then and then the second one being if you use a jutsu, it does more damage. Does more damage than what it usually does or says. So like, you know, these being dupe abilities, not everybody's gonna have them in a sense. So I can see that happening. I can see that being a thing where if you use your jutsu and you have this ability unlocked, you do a lot more damage. So like, let's say instead of 5 times damage, you maybe do 6 times damage, or maybe it's in addition, so it's like plus 500 damage, which isn't that much, but you know, that's a concept. Moving on to the bottom 2 in the left corner. I have really no idea. One of them has a recycle sign, I guess, if you call that a recycle sign. Then one of them has an increase sign. So, assuming this would be chakra, I guess. I'm gonna say it's chakra. Let's say it's chakra. Let's say those 2 are other one is if you use a man, I don't even know. Like, they're just so strange to me. So I'll leave it for you guys to decide what they are. But moving on to the, I guess, really interesting one, in my opinion, is the one all the way to the right. I made it bigger, just to make it emphasized on me thinking this one is a really cool concept one. So there are a bunch of different ways as to how they can go about this. I'm assuming or hoping that this drops with the Sage Mode Naruto. And I think, you know, there's a bunch of concepts, but for me, I think you attack and, you know, let's say there's a 15% chance that he also comes out, I don't know, what are the toads? I'm sorry, I forgot the name, don't roast me. But let's say he comes out and also hits and does, like, let's say twice the damage, you know, and it's 15% chance. So it's kind of like, the ×2 attack in Doken with the dupe system, but he comes out and he also does damage. Other than that, I don't really know what it could be. So this is the part of the video where I ask all of you guys in the comments to give your opinions on all of these. I know the last new abilities or unknown abilities, you guys went off and started giving out all of your opinions, and I really enjoyed reading all of them. But as of right now, that's all I know. So if you guys wanna, hit me up with some comments and everything, tell me. I'd love to talk to you guys also down there. So yeah, that's the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, and I'm out. Peace.